drugs is actually curing us. They've got us thinking that war is like football. People don't really get killed. They get up and they can do another play. And everything is fake. It's just a gigantic. The money system's fake. The economic system's fake. The art system is fake. The entertainment system's fake. The politicians are fake. We all know they're fake. Why are we even bothering with their reality? And we have to shun it. We have to go back to craft building and art and all these things that make us human. Well, that's what we should just create. Slow food. The slow food movement? That's a good movement. Eat as slow as you can. Walk as slow as possible. Try walking as slow as possible instead of fast as possible. And try to do everything opposite of the way that they are trying to tell us to do it. And you will find that your levity will return, your clarity of thought will return. If you practice alchemy, your health will return, and and then you will become a leader because you'll build such a huge field around yourself that you will transmute society, and that's really what we can do through the internet.
True, yeah. Sometimes I talk too fast. I'll have to cut that down. Jerry, you have a question for Jay.
Yes, this is another question from the forum from Acedia. If the Archons are a virus, can they live independently of us? And if so, why can't we just kill the virus? Are all of us infected, or are some of us immune to them?
Yeah, some of us are immune to them. It's easy to get immunity from them. And they do see, that's John Lash's view, is that they are a virus. Sort of like a meme virus, a thought virus that comes in and just makes people absolutely go completely bonkers. And then there's other people who say that they're a separate force who come in, and that's certainly what the Gnostics thought, was that they were an alien force. And they called them alien. They would get into arguments with the Christians and say, you're mad, insane, alien God. And the Christians would go crazy and kill them. And so it's a difference. It's really just. I mean, it's hard to explain. I mean, sometimes they're one, sometimes they're the other. I guess it's whatever you believe. I personally believe that they're separate. They're a separate force, and I believe that you can easily overpower Archons. Archons are the biggest pansies in the world. They really are. They run away from a strong person. Now, they will try to get a mob ginned up to go after strong people, like they went after Pythagoras and a lot of other people. So you got to be careful about that. And all thinking people should have an escape route until we defeat the Archons. But you can't defeat the Archons by killing them. You can only defeat the Archons by ignoring them or loving them. And I say ignore them. Don't even bother with loving them. That doesn't work. The Buddha is wrong. We just have to forget them completely. And we have to be aware of the archonic energies. And when they come in, we have to have societies that are built to know that the archonic energies are moving in, and you can't let it take it over. Can't let it take you over, or you'll have a Salem witch trial, or you'll have the witches of Loudon, where they killed all these people because they thought they were all possessed by the devil. And these are how the Archon works. Archons love mass frenzy, and they swoop in like wasps or something. Huge swarms of them swoop in when there's violence and anger and fear, and they just thrive on it. And so the way to defeat them is to remove the food.
Thank you, Jay. Patrick, you have a question for Jay.
Yeah, I think we're starting into Gnosticism and architecture. Jay, I've heard you talk about the pineal gland and our innate ability to tap into collective consciousness. You discussed ancient Renaissance and recent period construction, as in Washington, D.C., that might capture and concentrate etheric energy. In fact, you stated that our country's forefathers and architects somehow had more knowledge than could be accounted for without recognizing a Gnostic influence. I appreciate your thoughts on a personal experience I had. A number of years ago, I went to Monticello, and a guide pointed out that Thomas Jefferson slept in a semi-prone position with his head up, and often slid out of bed directly to his desk to capture on paper what he'd been working on in his sleep. Had you heard that story before?
No, but I love it. That's a great story. There's a guy, he tapped into it. No wonder he was such a genius.
Can you discuss how this might tie in with Robert Lawler's translation in the Temple of Man work, and how architecture in D.C. might have been purposefully built to enhance or transmute collective consciousness?
Well, I think that's right. I think what happened is that there was a war within Freemasonry. Originally was an alchemical tradition that was usurped in the mid 1700s by the bankers, the bankers were more or less assigned by the Aryan archons to begin the industrial age, so to speak, and so the Freemasonry became kind of a business organization. But so there was a break, and the good guys, they went underground. They are helping release this information right now, and they built the Gothic cathedrals, and they were behind. I personally believe that the fathers of the Revolution were this renegade, the apprentices of this renegade bunch, who began a war against England because it was English Freemasonry which was taking over all the world's Freemasons. And so the French and the American Freemasons got together and created a more esoteric-based Freemasonry, free from the archonic grip of English Freemasonry, and hence the war and the Revolution and the War of 1812. And through all that, they built, they used their knowledge of that had been gathered probably by the Templars in their digs underneath the temple, discovered texts and books on alchemy and history that became the books that the Templars had. And so the Templars, Freemasons come from the Templars, and the Templars were initiated into alchemy through their Islamic connections. And so we can see that the founders of the United States were recognized that there was a dark influence on the world, and we tried to create a place where freedom to study and essentially be a Gnostic could take place. Our founding fathers were Gnostics. People call them deists and other things, and that's true, but deists and Gnostic are very closely related, actually.
Thanks, Jay. I wonder if Tibetan structures have some sort of function in their construction. I recall your information about a parabolic carved mountain cliff where monks were able to levitate boulders from a high ledge to the ground using only their voices and harmonic instruments. Can you think of any great examples where frequency and vibration are designed into modern architecture?
Yeah, the Gothic cathedrals, and in Peru, the ruins of the temples still have this reverberation effect. And so, the etheric stuff, what they would do is they would take the dew and boil it down and put it on the boulder, on the top of the boulder. They'd sprinkle it on there, but they would hum this tune to the dew before. So they do all this chanting, and you get the vibration in the vial of dew to be the same vibration as the one they were chanting. Then they would pour the dew on the boulder, and then they would chant, and the boulder would rise. And the boulder would rise as long as the dew hadn't evaporated, and it would fall when the dew evaporated. See? And that's how they were doing all those things. And so all of these traditions are based on the single tradition, the great sacred science of alchemy, which was the science of the golden and silver and bronze age of the human race. As Chinese alchemy, Taoist alchemy, Indian alchemy, Egyptian alchemy, Greek alchemy, Native American alchemy, down in Peru and in Mayan Mexico. So each are holding an aspect of the single great truth, which is the the sky force. How to grab it, how to condense it, and how to take it, and how to live a long time, how to levitate, how to do all the things that they promised you could do if you went to India in the 60s, but nobody could actually do.
Thanks, Jay. Lauren, you have a question for Jay.
Yes, Jay, the subtitle of your film, Sophia Returning, is The Path to Planetary Tantra, yet the subject of Tantra does not receive much screen time. However, there is a curious and somewhat vague statement by Lash that seems to tie in, and I'll quote, pornography is a huge part of what the archons do, and it's also a huge part of what Sophia is going to do, using to overcome them. Can you elaborate in any way on this statement, and what, in your opinion, is the path away from the medic devices such as pornography and towards planetary tantra?
Yeah, well, I think the whole film is the path to planetary tantra. It's about the love of Sophia and almost really a sensuous relationship with Sophia, which is really when you're at that ecstatic state, that's when you really achieved gnosis. And so there's lots of paths towards that state of attainment of organic light. And pornography is again a fake out. It's fake sex, and it's also a turning away of men from sex with women, which is how do I say this and be politically correct? The most incredible sex act in all of nature is the sex act between a man and a woman of the human species. And it's the only one where they can come face to face with each other. And the way that the woman's body is built, she's the only female species that can actually reach orgasm at will. Whereas, she doesn't have to wait for her period time when she goes into heat like other mammals have to. And the human body is constructed in such a way that it allows this, and this is a key to our sacredness and how sacred we really are. And we're allowed in the moment of the greatest alchemy of all, the creation of life. We're allowed by virtue of the way our organs are placed and our spine. And if you yab yum from Tantra, when your spines are both facing up into the sky in the yab yum position, well, you develop this huge electromagnetic